How are you?
Hi guys, so we're in Markham today for the opening of the John Baird Woods Park. We're just about to start here. It's a beautiful day for it. Jonathan, you want to say hi? Woo, hello.
Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon. What a gorgeous day. What awesome day. And a great location. Welcome to the opening ceremony and dedication of the John Baird Woods Park. Before we get started, that's awesome. Keep those voices. We got some singing to do as well today. Before I get started, I really would like to introduce some of the VIPs that are with us today. I'm going to start off with the Deputy Mayor, Jack Heath. He is representing the Mayor. The Mayor may come towards the end. He had a conflict. He had to go to a funeral, and he sends his regrets, but he is going to try to make it to the ceremony so he can bring greetings to John Baird himself. I'm also welcomed by Regional Councillor Normella Armstrong. Our local councillor here, Councillor Karen Ray, represents this area. Councillor Alex Chu, Ward 8. Councillor Don Hamilton, Ward 3, in Unionville. We're also very honored to have the family. Our first honored guest is John Baird himself. Welcome. John is here with his daughter, Leanne Baird. And I believe, Leanne, you may have lived in this area growing up with your father and your mother, Frances, who just passed away this year, the beginning of this year. I know your cousins are here and some family friends. Your cousin, Dr. John Baird, and his wife, Nancy, thank you very much. And their children are here, I believe, your son, Jonathan. Also, Tim and Yolanda Baird as well, which is the nephews of John Baird himself. And I'm not sure if it was Jennifer. I think it was the daughter, Jennifer. So thank you very much. And I believe there's a number of family as well that are here, other family and friends. So thank you very much for attending. I also would like to acknowledge my colleague, Trinella Kane. She's the Commissioner of Corporate Services. And Charles here. My name, because I don't think I introduced myself. Maybe I don't want to be introduced. No, is Brenda Lebretz. I'm the Commissioner of Community and Fire Services. And luckily, part of my job is to take care of the parks as one of the areas of my responsibility. So I do want to introduce Dave Plant, who's in the back there. Woo! Dave is the parks manager. Woo! So he takes care of all the green spaces in the city of Markham. So without further ado, I would like to get started, and we are so honored to have the Wismar Public School here. It's a junior and an intermediate concert choir that is here to sing. And the best part of it is that the choir master, the person music teacher, is a good friend of Markham. The choir will be performing an American folk song called Clap Your Hands. And the Wismar students, Catherine, Julie, and Sarah, are on percussion. Very good. And in this spirit, please join along. If you know the words, sing along, like to clap. I'm sure they would be absolutely thrilled with that. So over to our maestro. Is the choir's music director, and Cindy Sisti, I think, is the assistant. Thank you very much. Now we'll start all of the special remarks and about our honored guest and about the beautiful park here. We're going to start with our local councillor, Karen Ray. She would like to say a few words and make a presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out. And wasn't the choir awesome?
Yeah.
So I'm the local councillor for the area, and it's my pleasure to be here for the official opening of the John Baird's Park. And a little bit of trivia, this is the 31st park in Ward 4. So I know the park is heavily used. We have the woodlot next door, and then behind the woodlot we have the naturalized area, so everybody in the local area can enjoy the park and the woodlot. I would like to say thank you to Laura, the school principal. Thank you for coming out and bringing out the choir and getting your involvement in the event. I want to also thank all the city staff. Besides this, there's a few staff that are not here. The ones that go into developing the park, designing the park, building the park, and we have the city staff then that have to maintain the park once it's built. So thank you to all the city staff, and I know all of you couldn't be here today. Thank you, you guys are awesome. And if anybody wants to listen to them, we found you on YouTube. So if anybody wants to go home after, you can listen to the choir on YouTube. Thank you to Mr. Baird. I'm glad you were able to come out today and celebrate the opening of the park that was named after yourself. The mayor is unable to attend today, so I'd like to introduce the deputy mayor that will bring the greetings from the city.
I really agree with Councillor Ray, don't you? That choir was very good, very, very good. What grades are the choir? 4 to 8. Well, You're excellent. I participated in the opening of the school several years ago, and I never thought that I knew we were going to have good students, but I never thought we were going to have greatness at this school. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you. I'm Jack Heath, I'm the Deputy Mayor, and I'm joined by, you've already been introduced, the council members. There's 4 of us here, plus me, I guess that's 5. We've got a great council, and one of the things we work on, led by Mayor Scarpitti, are parks. Building really good new parks, and you're seeing one here today, but there are many like this, and also refurbishing our parks. And so we've been doing that for the last several years. Brenda Lebretz, the commissioner, Dave Plant over there, Linda Irvin, who's hidden away somewhere. I don't think she's here today. She's our designer. I'll tell you, all the students back there and all the students here, you know, these things, like a park, just don't appear from the sky. What they are is well planned. What they are is a long-range project. We put the money in the budget 2 or 3 years before we actually produce the park. And the parks quite often are built in conjunction with schools. We build the park, i.e. we own this property, we build the park here, the school does things, and the relationship works quite well. Quite often the parking lot on the weekend, people can come to the park and park over there, etc. And that's one of the designs that we worked on. There's a stormwater management pond across the street. I know, I worked on that, as well as the high school. And they're all integrated, and that's one of the things I'm very proud of Markham. I'm going to go through a little description of some of the things we did on this park. Most importantly, I think we've honored the people in Markham who used to live here. John Baird and his family. We've named it's the John Baird Woods Park, but it's really named after John Baird and family. And they are people who preceded us all. People who used to live here, kids, before you lived here, and before I lived here. And so that's why it's such an honor. I do want to shake his hand. I've shaken his hand once already, but I do want to say thank you for lending your name to this park and being such a great Markhamite. So I'm just going to walk over and shake his hand, if that's okay with you. I want to tell you some of the attributes of this park. It really is something where a lot of thought goes into it. Now, first of all, we had a community meeting November 20th in 2014 at Wismer Public School. I don't think I was there, but the residents and the children, residents around here, the kids, some of the kids and the school principal. And we started construction on this park shortly thereafter, and it was completed and opened November 2016. Here's 4 or 5 points about the park I want you to remember. I will not remember that you had, was it 31 or 32 parks now in 31? You're sure of that? No. You're not sure of that? Neither was I. Neither was I.
That's the information I was given.
Oh, I see. Well, you're going to have to drive around and look. I used to be the counselor just a little south. I never had a total of the number of parks in my ward. We worked with the adjacent school, teacher, student, and parent to create an innovative and natural play experience that is with a hillslide, boulders, native grass, and berms. This is a different park. It's unique. We don't build them all the same. This is a unique park, and the staff have worked very hard on building a unique park, and council has endorsed it and said this is what we want to do. We created a dynamic and exciting space with undulating landscape while preventing export of soils. So the soils that might have been moved around here are still here. One of the major issues municipally relates to soil. For example, when we build your house and it's got a basement, we have to take soil out. And then what do you do with it? And quite often when you put in 2,000 homes, you got a lot of soil. And so what had happened, where you take it, where it can be a difficult commodity to work through. All the soil that came out of moving things around here is here, still in this part. Maybe on the hill, you kids are sitting on. Under there, we moved that soil from over there to up there, and you're sitting on the hill. We enhanced the woodlot edges. One of the great things about the Markham you live in, the Markham we all live in, but it's their future that we're talking about, it's your future. We have incorporated natural areas into our parks, more and more all the time. And so that's going to be, that wood lot is going to be there forever. The trees we planted are going to grow, etc. It becomes more and more natural. You're getting an insight into how we design parks here. So we enhance the woodlot with native trees. One of the issues that we have as council are maybe non-native trees, Norway maples and things like that, non-native species, and etc. So we put in native species and improve the woodlot with introducing pathways. And we included a gathering pod for outdoor classroom and other activities. Remember, complementing the school? We've named it after John Baird. And apparently, I wasn't there, you can confirm it, Mr. Baird, he purchased this property at 9377 McGowan Road in 1929. 1929. It was a farm or wood lot. There wasn't it was north of the village of Markham. And he developed several properties in Markham and Stouffville. He had a career, he operated John Baird Limited Realtor. Is that right? That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so what we've done, and just in summary, what we've done is worked extremely hard and I believe produced a beautiful park for our community. You know, we're elected as officials, and sometimes elected officials don't get what they may think they should get, and well-deserved respect and all that kind of stuff. I don't think sometimes they deserve that. But when it comes to facilities for the community in Markham, I just want to say thank you to you as resident. Thank you to the students and the principal and the students back there who might have participated in the group experience when we designed this park. I want to thank the staff for producing this park, and I want to thank the council because I think it's one of the best things we do. Work on natural areas, enhance the natural environment, and produce these kinds of locations, these kinds of parks for community use. I just hope you like it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Before we have Leanne come up and say a few words on behalf of the family, Leanne Baird, the daughter of John Baird, we're going to have the choir sing one more song. So we'd like them, they're going to sing the theme song from the Canadian Pavilion at Expo in '86 in Vancouver. It's called This Is My Home. Though many of us come from far and wide, from other countries, from other parts of Canada, we're all grateful to live in Canada.
We have
the Wismer Junior Intermediate Choir for joining us today. Both songs were outstanding. And I'm sure some of your parents are here and quite proud of you. But thank you so much for sharing the special day for John Baird. I also like to thank Laura Rickman, the principal. I'm sorry I didn't introduce you earlier, but thank you very much for participating. I know Councillor Ray said you have been a great partner in terms of the development of this park. Now we're honored to have John Baird's daughter, Leanne, come up and give us a little bit more of a history of the land and some background on the family as well. So thank you very much, Leanne, for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thank you all for coming out to the opening of John Baird Woods Park. On behalf of my father, John Baird, my late mother, Frances Baird, and the Baird family, I would like to thank the City of Markham for conveying this honor. John Baird Woods Park is situated on what was once 150-acre parcel of farmland. My grandparents purchased in 1929 from the Raymer family. The Bairds relocated from their farm in Scarborough at the beginning of the Great Depression. The old farmhouse from the McCowan Road farm is still standing and is located just west of here on Burr Oak Avenue. Last I looked, there was a hair salon in it. This woodlot is one of 3 woodlots that were located on the property. One woodlot was used for wood cutting, with which to heat the family home. Another woodlot, called Maple Grove, was used for making maple syrup and had a large fire pit for boiling sap on site. As a youngster, my dad, along with 3 to 4 farmhands, would help with collecting and boiling the sap. Another woodlot would be used along with a section of field to pasture a large herd of 50 to 60 Jersey milk cattle. The farm was a dairy farm for the most part. However, the farm was also used to grow seed grain during the 1930s. The 1940s brought World War II, and my father remembers watching fighter pilots in training from Ottawa to Toronto, flying over the fields and woodlots of the farm. Since all the men were off to war, it was difficult to get enough farmhands to help with field labor and milk delivery. So my father started delivering the milk from Markham to Toronto at the age of 17. Since my dad had a medical condition of asthma, he was exempt from going to the war. At that time, it was over an hour drive one way to deliver the milk from McCowan Road to Toronto. By the 1950s, Grandfather Baird's health was declining, and since my father was an asthmatic, it was decided to sell the farm and find another way to make a living. The farm was sold to the Riseborough family, who farmed the land until 1988, when it was sold to a developer. My father maintained some of his roots by keeping the 50 acres he purchased on the corner of McCowan Road and 16th Avenue. He kept the land in cash crops for 52 years until he also sold to developers in 1994. After a short stint in Florida, operating a family tourist resort, my father decided to return to Canada to seek a new vocation in real estate. He obtained his license, articled, and a few years later obtained his broker's license. Operating as John M. Baird Limited, my father established and grew a thriving real estate business that employed a number of agents. Markham was starting to grow, at first slowly and then very quickly, and John M. Baird Limited participated in many business deals during this transformation. My dad witnessed many cycles in the real estate market as he continued to navigate numerous transactions. He also purchased, operated, and expanded the Markwood Motel, which was located at the east end of town on Highway 7. Then, in 1972, the federal government announced that they were going to build a new airport in Pickering. A surge in land speculation ensued. Groups were forming to invest in large parcels of land around the town of Markham. My father coordinated many of these groups to assemble land in the area. One such group purchased the farm in central Markham, running from Markham Station to McCowan Road. This became a residential subdivision at the time that Markville Mall came into existence in 1980. John M. Baird Limited also redeveloped a building in downtown Stouffville during the 1980s called Sanders Block. The final 20 years of my father's career were spent in property, investment, and management. And in 2013, at the age of 92, my father decided to hang up his license. For 58 years, John Baird contributed to the development of a small town with a population of under 4,000 to the bustling city we now call Markham. Congratulations, Dad, on the naming of John Baird Woods Park. I'm happy you're able to be here for this memorable occasion.
Thank you, Leanne. That was wonderful. It helps us from a historical perspective to have some context. I'm sure the kids really learned a lot about fighter planes, over this particular area. It's kind of practicing for war, so it's kind of interesting to have those segments. We'd love to have a copy of your remarks, if you don't mind, for our archives. So before we do the formal ribbon cutting of our park sign, I'm going to ask the Deputy Mayor to come up and present to Leanne and John Baird a small little token for them to take with them in memory of this day. I will also ask the members of council to be part of the presentation. I understand there's a certificate as well that is to be presented, so we could do them both at the same time, but members of council will join.
We'll read the certificate first. Did you read it? No. So before we present it to you, John, we'll read it so that everybody else knows what it says. The City of Markham, John M. Baird. On behalf of the City of Markham, I would like to show our appreciation for the legacy you have created in the City of Markham with the commemoration of John Baird Woods Park. The love you have for your community is inspirational, and we appreciate your efforts in helping develop livable, vibrant, and thriving neighborhoods, and you see that all around us. Thank you for choosing Markham as your home, dated June 9th, 2018, and is signed Frank Scarpitti, Mayor of Markham. So there's something else. How do we do this? Yeah. That would be a good idea. The family, come on over to the family. Then we have something else to give you too. And Brenda, you can be in the too. We have all the now, does that reflect too much?
This gentleman in the back here, we're not really seeing. So do you want to come in over here next to Councillor Hamilton?